la! Your dream vacation to Singapore starts from rupees 44,999 only with GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Hello everyone and welcome to Galatta Plus and to the set of Freedom at Midnight, which is show run, sorry for the English, and created by Nikkhil Advani from this famous book by
Dominic Lapierre and Larry Collins. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
No, but thank you for this because, you know, one of the things that really struck me about the book when it came out, it's a very strange situation that a book called Freedom at Midnight comes out during the emergency.
Yeah, 1975.
1975.
Yeah.
You know, you're calling it Freedom at Midnight, and that's when India's freedom is basically like pretty much completely gone.
Yeah.
And there's one thing that I've always wondered, because when I read it in, I don't know, late college, whatever it is, you know, you're very like entranced by the prose, the four main characters of Gandhi, Nehru, Jinnah and Mountbatten, and how that thing happened. But then, you know, narratives change over time. You suddenly, like, I think maybe a few years ago, you had a documentary called Mountbatten, Was He Good or Evil? You know, so like Mountbatten, who's a hero in this book, is now they're beginning to see, okay, did he really do the right thing, wrong thing? So when you're handling a series like this, do you say, I'm just going to go with what's in the book, or do you say, I'm also going to incorporate some current perspectives of what has changed?
No, a bit of both. I mean, a bit of both, yeah. You know, so the thing with Freedom at Midnight came out in 1975, and of course Mountbatten is the hero of the book, primarily because he's the one who called up Dominic Lapierre and Larry Collins. So it's like having a documentary that is being commissioned by the person who the documentary is being made on, right? Nasreen Munni Kabir, once after Kalona, I was going to make a documentary on on the Bachchans, and Nasreen told me, how can you do it when they are going to be you know, paying for the documentary? It doesn't seem to be it doesn't qualify as a documentary. So the thing is that he called them. He had loved two books that he had written, O Jerusalem and Is Paris Burning. He had loved both those books, and he called them and he said, "Ki boss, I have why are you not making out this thing about the Freedom at Midnight, India's partition?"
And there's all these interviews, reports, papers.
So they say, how can we everybody's dead. Who do we interview, whatever? He said, I have the minutes of the meetings, I have my diaries, I have correspondence that I sent to all these guys. And the Congress minutes were also available, the Muslim League minutes were also available. At that time, there was no such thing as internet. So basically, he had everything and he provided them everything. So really, what Freedom at Midnight, the book, does is it allows you into the private conversations that possibly from his perspective, right? So you're right, in which he's going to be the hero. So in which he basically, there's a sequence where there's a paragraph in the book where it says that after independence was afforded and was announced, Nehru and Patel came to him like schoolboys and said, we don't know how to run the country, and can you help us? I mean, did that ever happen? Do you ever think that would happen? You know, even if it was semi-truth, they were giants as far as people are concerned, so it never would have happened. But that's how he's written it. So in fact, when I was hearing the podcast of William Dalrymple and Anita Anand, called Empire, and it's one of the first seasons they talk about Mountbatten and they trash the book. And I was about to start.
When you were about to start this?
Yeah, I was about to start this. You know, so we had done 2 years of writing, and I was about to start this, right? And I said, oh my God, William Dalrymple. I mean, they're very, hastiyan hai yaar, as far as, you know, writing for history and all that. I said, shit, we are screwed.
Right.
He's there. So, and a lot of the historians have said it's a pulpy book. Nothing else. But basically, it was Danish Khan's favorite book. It was my favorite book. It was Shaukat Mukherjee's favorite book. We were doing Rocket Boys.
Right.
And they came to me and they said, boss, would you like to do make your book into a show? And I said, you can't get the rights.
Actually, like, for a generation of Indians, it was a very, like, you could find it at a lot of places in colleges.
And all of us basically, there was Political History of India by Tulsi Vatsal. And there was Freedom at Midnight by Dominic Lapierre and Larry Collins. Right? And that is, and that is what actually everybody is a little irritated about today, because that's Nehru's history. Right? This is Nehru's history. Right? There is a whole thing today that we need to talk about history that has not been spoken about, etc., etc. But the idea was to make this into a show, and they said, let's do it. I said, yeah, okay. let's write it. We put a writing room, and we are here now. So this is, I mean, 2.5, 3 years later, we are on the set of Freedom at Midnight, you guys have come. Unfortunately, when I'm at a portion when I'm on the 60th day of shoot and I'm destroying the set.
How
Big part.
many days did this set
It took
take?
about 80, 90 days to
80,
put up.
90 days,
80
okay.
days. Because what happens is over here, we find maidans which are big enough for us where we can put up sets. So you have to actually literally,
Right.
you have to,
Do all this.
yeah. So that's what the research that has gone into building this set, into putting up even the hoardings of the time, the font that was being used.
Yeah.
A lot of Freedom at Midnight is, and like Rocket Boys, is about letters
Right,
that these
right.
guys wrote to each other. It's about correspondence that they wrote to each other. So what kind of typewriters they used? What was the font that was being used in
Yeah.
typewriter? That's where the kind of stuff your hands got dirty. Ages, can we get a napkin? Can
No,
we-
no, that's okay. That's.
So yeah, so
It's always good to get your hands
we-
dirty on the job.
the set that you're on right now is part of Calcutta in
Right.
1947.
Right. You wanna-
This is all parts of, like, for the last 3-4 days we've been shooting the riots of Calcutta that were happened in 1947. It actually started
Which explains all the.
which explains the suit, which is to give the feeling that things were on fire or set on fire, etc. And it actually started on September 1946 when Jinnah basically said कि हमारे पास भी पिस्तौल है, हम उसे चलाने जानते हैं, etc. He gave the direct speech of a direct action, basically calling for the Muslims to get down and ask for what he considered to be their rights.
Right.
Suravadi, who was the chief minister of Bengal at that time, turned around and said, I'm going to show Jinnah who's the real boss is, who's actually a most powerful leader in the Muslim League. So it was a tussle, and which are things that we did not read in our history books, right? So the private interactions and the private insecurities of even these leaders is something that we got access to in these books, albeit from his point of view.
Yeah.
What we've done after that is that while we've kept the book as our core, we've done so much research from everywhere else, making sure that it is the source is verifiable,
Right.
right? So wherever we have deviated from the book, because there are lots of portions that we need to deviate. Essentially, after 15th August 1947, Mountbatten had a very small role to play in anything, right? But the book goes on till 30th January 1948,
yeah,
right? The
yeah.
date that Gandhi was assassinated, right? So from there, everything else takes over. So
Yeah.
a lot of other research takes over, you know. So yeah, so we are here. What you are seeing right now is Kolkata, but if you had come over here, if you came here about at the beginning of the set, this was Lahore.
Okay. Okay.
So we had built it up as Lahore. We knew we were going to do Lahore first. So all even the streets, the cobble streets and all that you are seeing right now was
Right.
all red mitti.
Right.
Because we decided कि Lahore or Delhi will be brick and red, whereas Calcutta will go into cobblestones and that kind of this thing, right?
Right.
Today we start shooting a sequence which is the first scene of the show, very first scene of the show we shoot, where a woman gets molested in her house by rioters, and she and her son runs around the street, which is 16th September 1946, which is Direct Action Day.
So Nikhil, the other thing is, first of all, thank you for this very detailed answer, because it answers almost three
All your
questions that I had. You know, there's also this parallel narrative that's happening today, which is, I don't know if I can mention the names of the films, but there have been certain films that have come out that are, you know, putting forward a certain kind of narrative.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, see, you go to watch something, you see what they have to say, and as long as the distortion is not too much, you go away with it saying
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
perspective. Is that something that's playing on your mind while you do this? Because you are talking about a period in history where the notion of India was very different from what it is today.
Yeah.
It has that current thing also been playing on your mind?
Of course.
Yeah.
You
To
can't-
put it
you-
simply, like, we are no longer, the word Nehruvian
Yeah.
is no longer
Is a bad word.
Is a bad word. Yeah. Is
Is a bad word.
Yeah.
In my opinion, we are doing Revolutionaries, which is Sanjeev Sanyal's book, right? I'm also making that, and
Right.
we are in the process of writing that, right? So when I decided to do that, the thing was that there's a great saying in Braveheart. William Wallace says that history is written by those who bury the heroes,
Yeah.
right? So when I read the book, and it's again has a perspective, but it also tells the story of people who very clearly we did not know about, right? So in my opinion, you can make a film about Martin Luther King, but you can also make a film about Malcolm X. But when you make the film about Malcolm X, let's not denigrate what Martin Luther King did.
Yeah.
Right? That's where I am coming from.
Right.
So if I can tell the story of these so-called these unsung heroes, and they are unsung.
Right.
They were chosen to be unsung.
Right.
They didn't feel let's be honest. They did not fall into the purview of Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, right? But they did certain things, and they did push certain triggers for the British also to basically say in 1946 the 20,000 naval soldiers that mutinied in the Bombay port,
Right.
right, was a very big reason for Attlee to turn around and say, listen, we can't handle this anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to get out.
Yeah.
Right. So should we talk about that? Yes.
When Kamal Hassan did Heroism,
Yeah.
he cited two books as his primary inspirations.
Yeah.
One is this book, Freedom at Midnight, and the other one was Manto. First of all, have you seen Heroism in
Yes.
context of this?
Of course. Yeah. Very much.
Is there a like any kind of overlap in, because when you talk of Suravati and all that, there is some stuff in that movie as
Yes,
well.
yes.
So did you take any inspirations from Heroism or any other movies that were made
But
about?
you have to take there's no way that you cannot take inspiration from our heroes. Kamal sir is a big hero of mine. I got the opportunity to meet him when I was doing D-Day, because Shruti was in D-Day.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he came, and he was one of the first people to watch it, and that scene is there where Shruti is molested, and she kills herself, and he said you should make it more graphic. Make it more, let the music go along with the hand going up and down, the blood is on the floor. And I said, he was the first person. I was amazed that the hero, I grew up watching Nayakan, right? I grew up watching Sadma, I grew up watching these kind of films with Kamal sir, and Ek Duje Ke Liye, even the song, when you go to play Antakshari, one of the first songs that you are singing is Kamal sir's song. So he's a big hero, of course, and Heram is particularly was good for us, because I think, when we were doing Mohabbatein, or was it Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, I think Mohabbatein, Shah Rukh was shooting for Heram.
Oh, right.
And Shah Rukh has a habit of coming for meetings where he says that the film that he's making with you is rubbish. You should be seeing that film. In Kalona, he said Devdas is fantastic, Kalona is rubbish. And so he has that habit. So we all Heram, you don't watch. And Saurabh is also in Heram. Shukla was a very close friend of mine. And so
he has a beautiful role in that film.
Yeah. So I watched it very much, and but all you're asking, Ketan sir's Sardar is something that I keep going back to. Paresh Rawal's performance is incredible. Renu's editing is unbelievable. Music by Rajat Dholakia is just. If I could get Juku to be more disciplined, I would make him do the music of Freedom at Midnight. He's incredible. What he did with, say, even 1942, A Love Story, because he was working at that time with R.D. sir, Pancham Da, and that Turuna Turuna is Juku. Is Juku. He just distinguished it. He hummed it, and it became the theme of 1942, A Love Story. So Sudhir, I don't post everything that I've done with MA in the last 13 years post D-Day. The one person I always think about is Sudhir, and will he say yes, no, okay, cut, should I do it better, can I make it a little more this thing, should I make it a little more provocative, evocative, what? Sudhir, everything that he taught me is that. So there are these heroes that I keep. Sham Babu's this thing, Discovery of India.
Discovery of India. I was going to ask you about that next, because that's like I think 52 episode, of basically, and the
Writings
last
of Nehru.
Yeah, based on the book Discovery of India. So again, a book based on a book, but the thing is again made for television.
Yeah.
But those were again, he chose to stick to the book.
Yeah.
He didn't say I'm going to go and like research the hell out of it.
Yeah.
My thing is, I'm taking this book, that's really what I'm going to follow. I'm guessing what I'm really getting at is, because at that time, the chatter around a project was also less, because there was no internet, there was no,
social media, everybody didn't have an opinion.
Yeah, I think opinion is important,
Yeah.
but I think informed opinion is important.
Absolutely.
But now you have every kind of opinion. People who just say 5 minutes and say, this is bakwas. No, that's what I mean.
I find it funny. I was thinking because we launched the first look yesterday on social media with Gandhi's look and Nehru's look, and I got a fair amount of trolling.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I always get. I mean, I find
Like, just give me a couple of samples of.
yeah, मतलब भगत सिंह का करना चाहिए था ये मतलब ये तीन क्या whatever I can't even use those kind of words or whatever or just in general ki I hope you will make it authentic and you will not fall victim to dispensation and whatever, lots of both sides.
Yeah.
You know, both sides. Thomas Shelby, have you seen Peaky Blinders? There's an incredible
One of my
line.
favorite shows.
It was an incredible line which I keep telling my friends who are these armchair activists living in South Bombay and what's happening in Kashmir and this and that, you know, and woke people is a lovely line where somebody meets Thomas Shelby and he says that person says, I didn't think I thought you were a socialist, I didn't think you were a fascist. And he says the problem with you guys is that you think that politics is a straight line.
Yeah.
It's actually a circle, because if you walk long enough, the far right wing will become the far left, right?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Right. So I got a lot of trolling yesterday, and a fair amount, not a lot. I'm really surprised that I did not get completely this thing about it. And my point is that most people forget that the ability to say what you want and give the opinion what you want is because of the people that we are making the show about.
Yeah.
They gave you democracy. Most people forget that.
Yeah.
You would not be able to do anything. You would not be able to say the kind of stuff that you can say and could even today.
Right.
Even today, you can't say the kind of stuff you can say if they are not giving you what they gave you.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Because even when Sir Richard Attenborough made Gandhi,
Yeah.
I don't know if he was knighted at that time, but anyway, Richard Attenborough, there was one bunch of people that said, oh, you know, it took a man from England to come and finally make a movie about one, because I don't think anything about Gandhiji had been made until then.
No.
Like properly, you know,
Yeah.
like maybe he was a mention or or something like that, but otherwise there was really nothing.
Yeah.
But since then, like there has been a change in narrative about the movie itself, about how it omits this and it omits that, and this is not there, and you don't show Gandhi's everything that's there in my experiments with truth and all that kind of stuff. So you're going to face a lot of that when this comes out, because it's like
It's a book.
It's a book.
In Freedom at Midnight, Mr. Gandhi is a political strategist.
Yeah.
Is the leader of is the ideological leader of the Congress
Right.
at that time. Does it mention about his experiments with truth and his so-called experiments with celibacy, etc., etc.?
No. Yeah.
It does. There is a paragraph, right? There's a paragraph in that. So,
But that's not
that
the
is
focus.
not. But
Yeah.
that is not the focus
Yeah.
of the show. The focus of the show is the making of a nation. The focus of the show is the sacrifice of many and the ambition of one, right? The focus of the show is where Jinnah, who was the ambassador of Hindu unity and Hindu-Muslim unity, was completely moved away, right? Because the sun overshadowed a rising star. Right, that is what the focus of the show is. So really, do we dwell upon the relationship with Nehru and Advani? We talk about it. It's there.
Yeah.
In the sense that what समझदार के लिए इशारा काफी है.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's there. Those things are there. But at the end of the day, it's really the political machinations. It's a political
Right.
thriller, whatever, you know.
It's interesting that you brought up Jinnah, because it's a dramatic book. One could even say it's a melodramatic book, because that's
It
what
is
gives it the
pulpy,
power.
as we said, it's absolutely pulpy.
Like
which
it's
is
like
great.
a
It's
riveting
Bollywood drama.
It's a Bollywood drama, yeah.
Correct.
So जिसमें hero है उसमें villain भी होना चाहिए.
Correct.
And Jinnah becomes the kind of the bad guy here.
Yes.
And again, that I was thinking, how are you going to show that in like a series? Because again, this is a very complicated situation we're dealing with. It's not like easy, like, oh, he wanted to separate like a Muslim state. There were very many reasons that went into why they wanted thing, because they thought that, the majoritarianism and all that kind of stuff. So when you're, again, trying to do that, are you, from today's point of view, looking at it and saying, am I villainizing him, or are you saying, I'm just kind of, this is the book, this is what is there in the book, that's what I'm going to show?
Given the fact that we are right now in the 76th year, 77th year of since 1947. Can I say that Iman, he's quite a tragic character in the sense that there is a sequence in the book which is there in the show where he turns around and he gets up from he was suffering from TB, right?
Right.
Most people knew that he was suffering from. He told Dr. Patel, who later on we gave a Padma Shri to, right? That don't tell anybody. He took the X-ray the X-rays away and hid them, because he knew that if they knew that they would extend the independence, and he would possibly not make it. So he's tragic in that sense, but he's also very clever. He's also very strategic. He's also tragic in the sense that he wakes up and he comes to his house is getting packed because Mountbatten has moved the date of independence from 48 June to August 1947, where they thought they had about 10 months to pack up and go to Karachi. They had 5 weeks, and they're putting into his monogram crockery into what is bubble wrap or whatever that time. He says, "What the hell are you all doing? What are you doing? Why are you packing everything and whatever?" And she says Fatima Jinnah was a very important character, because I did not know how Fatima Jinnah existed. I found out that Fatima existed because in this book, when I read the book, and he turns around and she says, "Well, where do you leave?" He says, "Why? Why do you have to leave?" She says, the Quaid-e-Azam cannot rule Pakistan from Malabar Hill. And he thinks. It never occurred to him.
Yeah.
It never occurred to him that he would have to leave his beloved Bombay. He loved Bombay. When he died, he actually said that, "Please bury me along." He sent a letter to Nehru requesting to be buried along with Rati in the same graveyard alongside his wife. So he's tragic in that sense. But today, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not, I can't, and I don't wish to. It's not about I can't. I don't wish to run away from the fact that a lot of what we are facing even today could have been avoided.
Yeah.
Could have been avoided by just dialogue, by just, Gandhi went to both Nehru and Patel and said, "Give him the prime ministership." What a sequence! It's there in Gandhi. It's there in Gandhi and as a passing in the corridor. It's a full episode in Freedom at
Right. I'm remembering getting goose flesh actually.
It's a full episode in Freedom at Midnight, right? And we've treated Sardar Patel as what I know practical, right? The show also starts with what most people will think that, oh, is Nikhil going to avoid that sequence where Gandhi turns around and says, takes the prime ministership from Sardar and gives it to Nehru, right? And he says Sardar will run the country, but Nehru will lead the country. What was his possible reason was that Sardar was 79 years old, was ailing, right? So he was a strategist. He was not only ideological. It was not his ideology was not coming from a point of just I'm talking directly to God, which he possibly was, but from a lot of planning, a lot of thought. You can't mobilize 34 crore people. There was no internet. There was no WhatsApp. There was not WhatsApp messages and WhatsApp forwards, and you can't just get students to come and say ki whatever. He was mobilized 34 crore people to stop talking when his hand used to go up. That was Mahatma Gandhi. Try doing it today. The reason we built this set, which took us 90 days to build, which actually the sets each house that you see accommodates another set inside.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Each house, each set accommodates another. So we have 86 sets within the same set.
Wow.
And each set is called like a magic room. So the schedule is in such a way that the schedule and my first AD is constantly in touch with the advanced crew and the art team to keep changing the sets around. So this set earlier was something else, then it now becomes, this set is where what you're standing is Madan Lal Pawa's house.
Okay.
Most people don't know about Madan Lal Pawa. Madan Lal Pawa, we know January 30th Gandhi was assassinated, but we don't know on January 20th Madan Lal Pawa also tried to assassinate him by the same group of people that finally assassinated him, right? So we are showing Madan Lal Pawa, and Madan Lal Pawa grew up in Pakpatan in Montgomery, which is now in Pakistan, and he was influenced by the whole Radcliffe commission border. The line was and went through the horrors of the migration and the Exodus.
Yeah.
Right? So we show all that. The big sequences are the Exodus.
Yeah, actually, now that you bring that up, even today, you feel a fury when you realize that a guy, Radcliffe, who had so little knowledge about anything, just randomly drew a line.
Yeah.
And that decided the fate of two nations.
Yeah, but again, in our show, did he just randomly decide it? Right? Because he actually went to Mountbatten and asked him for more time. And he said, because he actually, what again we people don't realize, he was given a group of retired judges.
Right.
Amar Akbar Anthony, a Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, and another Hindu. Two Hindus, Muslim, and a Sikh, right?
Yeah.
To aid him in this. His aides were again Hindu, Muslim, and Sikh, right? And they kept telling him that our census, our survey maps, we don't have the right information. They are 1941 based, if not longer. We need more time. We need more time. He went. Finally, what happened was that Mountbatten, basically, who was just full of himself and saying that I am going to be, I'm supreme commander of the Allied forces in Southeast Asia. I am going to be the guy who last viceroy, and he pomp and splendor. The first thing that he did when his investiture happened was he called in the press. He had called in a press attaché,
Right.
and he called in the press to follow him around, basically from place to place. And then lots of places when he went, he had to stop the press because it was mayhem.
Yeah.
There was mayhem. What happened in the minute Radcliffe came here is that there was so much confusion as to where Calcutta was going, where Lahore was going to go, where lines were going to be drawn. Who is drawing these lines? Why is a lawyer? Why is a lawyer being called? Nehru said, I'm a lawyer. Let me draw the line. Right? Why was Gurdaspur finally given to India? Which actually was to our advantage because then Patel could actually make the road to Srinagar. Right? And send the army in. Why was Chittagong sent to East Pakistan? These are the questions that were this thing. So he asked for time, and it was chaos. Punjab blew up. When Punjab blew up, he sent 55,000 army personnel to Punjab to which meant there was nobody to go to Calcutta. So he went and requested Gandhi and said that the only person I can request. So Gandhi went to Calcutta. No fucking security force, nothing. He goes there. That's when he said it's chaos. There was a coup. The Chancellor of Princes decided that, hello, we made a deal with Victoria. Give us our kingdoms back. Who is Nehru? Who is Patel? Who is his Congress? We don't want. So there was they had weapons more than the Indian army. So he just said, get out. We are getting out. We are getting out because I don't want a blemish on my record that I was responsible for civil war in India.
Right.
And then Radcliffe said, boss, I can't. So actually there's an incredible, Ram Madhwani made a documentary on Radcliffe. Which I read, which I watched. He's now living in some obscure provincial town in UK, and he didn't take the money.
Wow.
He didn't take the money. He said that history will judge me for eternity, but I'll be damned if I'll be paid for it.
Yeah, it's a lot. About the structuring of the screenplay itself, it's a big fat book, So
Yes.
how many episodes is it going to be? And when you gave the book to the writing room, what was your first instruction? Was it like be faithful, or was it be dramatic, or what was the thing?
So it's a big book. It's more than 500 pages. And when I gave it to the writing team, first of all, my writing team is also comprises of young kids, right? And today,
and many of them probably reading it the first time.
They have not read it.
They have not read it. Okay.
They have not read it, right? They have not read it. Their first question was, will we be able to make it? Sir, allow karenge ki nahi allow karenge? That was the first question. Second was that do we have to stick to only the book? Because the book is pretty one-sided, right? It's pretty perspective of Mountbatten, right? So those were questions that we got into with the Sony team, and we said, okay, what if we do use other sources and all that? And then we came to some kind of this thing, okay, as long as we have the source material, have a verifiable source, as well as something is there, but 90% of the time, please stick to the book. What's the point of getting the rights to this book if you don't
Yeah.
stick to the book? My brief to them was that we have to become better than the book, because the book is a great starting point. We have to become better than the book, and let's understand that it cannot be about just men in rooms. It has to be about
Right, you said.
the
yeah.
confusion that is
Yeah.
there. It has to be about the chaos that is there. Next question. Confusion, chaos means budget.
Yeah.
Means you're not in a room. Means you have to come out, right? We finish shooting tomorrow, and then we leave in 10 days time for the North India schedule, which is Jodhpur, Jaipur, Delhi, Patiala, Chandigarh, Pataudi, Kashmir, Kolkata, England,
Wow.
right? I can't even start. Usually our ambition at MA is much higher than budgets. In this case, the Sony guys have said, listen, I think it helped that we had done Rocket Boys.
Yeah,
so-
just to clarify, MA is his production outfit. Yeah.
So it just helped that they said, okay, okay, you want. So it's 15 episodes. It's 15
wow.
episodes.
15 episodes of maybe like an hour each.
45 minutes each.
Okay.
But 7 episodes for season 1 and 8 episodes for season 2. That's how I did Rocket Boys also. I did 8 and 8 for Rocket Boys, and the caveat was we have to shoot together.
Right.
So we are on day 60 today. We have another 60 days to shoot, and we've shot from 28th of January was when we started shooting, and we've now reached May, and we continue shooting till September. And
Nice. It's an in progress, work in progress.
yeah.
Now, Nikhil, you know, there are two Bombay film industries, right? At least there used to be two Bombay film industries. One is the more mainstream one, which everybody watches. Like, you've been part of both. For example, you started out with Sudhir Mishra, you worked with Renu Saluja, you worked with all those people, Kundan Shah, Aziz Mirza, all those people that were this, I wouldn't call them exactly the Shamba, Benegal, Govind
Yeah.
Lani kind of a thing. They were a little more.
There was a co-op which was called Friendship Channel Dosti, which had 7 of these guys. So Sudhir, Saeed, Aziz, Kundan, Manjul, Sham Babu, Govind Nilan, and Shekhar Kapoor.
Right. So people just don't know or haven't heard enough of certain music directors or certain cinematographers who all made their name, in that kind of milieu, right? For
Yeah.
example, if you ask somebody who did the music for most of Shyam Benegal's films,
Yeah, Vanraj Bhatia.
Vanraj Bhatia, but they would know the name of Vanraj Bhatia.
I gave the reference to. I went on to Spotify to find Vanraj Bhatia's references. It's not there.
Yeah.
It's not there. How can you think about doing a period show in India and not have Vanraj Bhatia as a reference point, right?
Yeah.
So Bhanu Athaiya.
Bhanute, yeah. So, and the other Bombay film industries, of course, then the one that you made your debut film with, which is Karan and Adi and Aditya Chopra and the subsequent things that did Salam Namaste, the big ones, right? So this is not about quality. This is about outlook, sensibility, that kind of thing, right? Where do you fit in now? Because at one point you say, this is how I'm going to go. I'm going to go Kal Ho Na Ho, Salamesh, Chandni Chowk to China. That's my direction.
Yeah.
At what point did that inflection happen at say, because now you seem to be
Failure.
when
I started failing.
That's the thing. Okay.
When I started failing. It was just failure after failure. Salamesh was a outcome. I've said it before, so I'm repeating myself. It was an outcome of arrogance that, okay, people feel that I have not directed Kal Ho Na Ho, I'll direct 6 love stories. एक में एक मणिरत्नम टाइप लव स्टोरी होगा, एक में गुलजार टाइप लव स्टोरी होगा, एक में करण जौहर टाइप लव स्टोरी होगा, एक में एक कुंदन शाह टाइप ऑफ ये होगा. सो आई सेड आई विल डायरेक्ट 6 लव स्टोरीज. सुनील मनचंदा गेव मी द अपॉर्चुनिटी. ही सेड लव एक्चुअली को बनाते हैं वगैरह वगैरह. चलो बनाते हैं, चलो. Salman Khan prides himself of being the messiah of the industry, right? Which is the minute I walked out of the doors of Dhanwa Productions, I got a call from Salman, said, come and meet me. Now you will work for me. You will make a film for me. And I appreciate. That's the reason why I did Hero. When I did Hero because Salman called me up. Even after I did D-Day, I did Hero. The next film was Hero. I did Hero and Katti Badi, 2 big flops, massive flop, 1 week after the other, right? So life's lessons and failures, right? I do a Salamesh, doesn't work. I get panicky. Rohan Sippy calls me up and tells me, can you do Chandni Chowk to China? Akshay has said he wants to do it. Warner Brothers is coming on board. I said, yeah. I had no idea. I had not seen Kung Fu Hustle. They had all seen it. They had all Sridhar's favorite film. You know, Stephen Chow and this and that, and we should do that. So I started watching it, and for whatever it's worth, first half of Chandni Choda is too good. It's fantastic. Again, I was very lucky because it bombed badly, and Akshay called me next day and said, Ki, what are you doing next? I'm doing a next film. I love your energy. I love we got it wrong, we'll get it right. We started doing Patiala House. We did Patiala House, beautiful film, lovely father and son relationship. Akshay had 4 flops, one of them being Tismar Khan. Nobody came to watch Patiala House. Today also when it plays out on satellite, Akshay calls me and says, Kya picture banai hai? So I was lucky, but that's one thing, to have all this emotion aside. The other thing is that nobody wants to back you as a director, as a storyteller, as a filmmaker. So I went to my sister and a friend of mine. They used to run a HR company, one of the biggest HR companies, and they had retired. I said, I want to start my own production company. I don't know how, I don't know what, but I don't want to tell the stories that I've been telling. I don't want to make the films I want to make, but I know what I want to do. And I didn't. I was going to make some Viredi wedding kind of Sex in the City kind of 4 more shots kind of film, because that time Sex in the City was doing well, and we thought whatever. And I thought, let's not run after the male heroes. I don't have access to them anymore. I'll get 4 female heroes. You know, these were my thoughts. Then suddenly, my driver turned around and said, Osama bin Laden ko pakda, ab log Dawood Ibrahim ko kyun nahi jaake pakad sakte hai? Good idea. And I came to the office, and all my ADs, you know, in their cool clothes and all on Facebook or Orkut or whatever was at that time, and they were all. I said, yeah, these guys are also thinking that there's a story here.
Yeah.
Ritesh and Suresh and I were working on that Viredi wedding kind of thing. And he said, I said, want to try this? कौन करेगा, कैसे बनाएंगे हम लोग? ऐसे बनाते हैं, try करते हैं. I had no clue. I had no idea. And Ritesh said, okay, let me write it. And he went and started writing it, and I got impatient, so I wrote it. And I said, okay, मैं लिखता हूँ. And I gave it to him, and then he obviously took it and made it into the magic that it finally became. But that's what it is. But while we were doing D-Day, I remember Monisha, my sister, called me up and said, do you know this guy called Raja Menon? And he knows you. And I said, yeah, I know. I've seen his film Barana. Purab Kohli was in it. So he said, can I set up a meeting? I think she has an interesting premise. So I said, yeah. So we went. I was early morning in the office, and he narrated an idea to me which he thought he would be allowed to make. And I told him that, the thing is that if I am a first time producer going to make a film for a director, for all intents and purposes, a first time director, right? Don't tell me the film that you think I am going to allow you to make. Tell me the film that you don't think anybody will allow you to make. Because it's going to be that much hard work only.
Right.
So let's do that. So he told me Airlift story. I said it's not possible. I read a lot. I consider myself quite informed as far as politics and social things are concerned. And he said, Airlift. So he sent me the 2 articles. 177,000 people stuck in Kuwait and whatever. And he wanted Irfan, which worked fine for us because Irfan was doing D-Day and we were going to start shooting Patchwork and all that. And I said, okay, I'll set up a meeting. And Irfan heard it. Right. And he said, boss, mere saath mat kare picture. I said, why? He said, fantastic picture. But you'll not be able to make it, you'll not get the budget. Go to Akshay. Tu Akshay ko janta hai. So I went to Akshay. And I went to Akshay with some other film. And he said, rubbish hai yaar. Kya hai? Mere liye nahi hai. He said, what else is it? I said, no, I narrated that film to Irfan, usko karna nahi. He said, why didn't you come to me with it? I said, you can't do it. बहुत serious है, बहुत ये है, आपको सारे lines रटना पड़ेगा. You'll have to do workshops. Raja Menon wants to do workshops. मुझे करना है. I said, Raja doesn't want you. So मुझे करना है. He met Raja. He sat for workshop after workshop after workshop.
How has filmmaking changed? When I say filmmaking, the business of filmmaking changed from the time you stepped in with Kal Ho Na Ho to today, when we're about 10 years into the OTT, how many years? 8 years, 10 years?
Yeah. About 8. I would imagine 8, right? Sacred Games was possibly the first big
breakout
show, whatever, right? So I mean, in 2017, we made a show called POW.
Yeah.
Right? which was where Shogato at that time was in Star, and they had Uday Shankar. I have been very fortunate to have people like Uday and Akshay, and who somehow believe in the madness and the hard work and whatever. So they basically loved D-Day and said, I want to do a D-Day kind of show, whatever. And we did a pilot, you know, and he said, we saw the pilot, and earlier it was supposed to be 26 episodes, because Hatu film is 26 episodes, and it was supposed to be 26, and they dangled the carrot and they said Gideon Raff, who's made Hatu film and has made Homeland the first season, he's going to be collaborating with, and he did collaborate. They got him down, we sat, and but we made the pilot, and then studio takes over and says, no, so pilot is so good, let's do 52 episodes. No, the pilot is so good, let's do 106 episodes. Suddenly it became daily, right? And Udayat kid came to us, said, okay, you have to do only 4. I said, no, I'll do all. So I did all 106 episodes. I just, for 2 years, didn't do anything, I just did. So yes, OTT, how has it changed? I think it has become way more organized.
The industry itself.
Industry itself, the process of filmmaking itself has become way more. You cannot do a show like Freedom at Midnight if you have not prepped for 2 years. You can't. You'll just get it wrong. It will just go haywire. On day 5 or day 6, you'll be about 1 crore over budget, and you will be just, it's just chaos.
Right.
It's chaos, right? We are on day 60, and my production team has not called me up and said we have screwed. So that's a very big thing. How has it changed? It has changed. It has not changed also. Star system is still the star system, and I think that more and more OTT is also now going to start relying heavily on star system.
Right. Which is we are already seeing it happen a bit.
Yeah, right. So basically, you will have A-list stars being wooed. Night Manager, Farzi, Indian Police Force. They are being wooed left, right, and center. Right. But what I think OTT has done is it has made Manoj Bajpayee into a
that's a great way to put it.
into a household.
Into a household name. Yeah.
Pankaj Tripathi into a house. Pankaj Tripathi is one of the biggest stars on OTT.
Yeah.
It has made Raj DK into where I constantly say in features there are 5 directors and people. Raj DK ka show aa raha hai, right? It has made Raj DK into it has given Vikram Motwani, the power to produce what he wants to produce, to tell the story he wants to tell, right? It has every single, whether we are going through a slump, whether it is all streaming platforms are cutting 25-30% of their budgets, everybody is working.
Right.
The industry is working, right? It has, so I think it's, personally for me, it's highly liberating.
Right.
It's highly liberating. I mean, it allows me to make the feature I want to make. I'm doing a film called Veda with John Abraham and Sharvili.
I've seen the trailer. Yeah.
So it which is on honor killing, which is 2 horrific cases of honor killing, which allows me to say to John, boss, it'll work. Don't worry.
Yeah.
If we I've seen what they do in everybody thinks about South cinema being mythology and this thing. They take the core emotion.
Yeah.
Right? Water irrigation canal. Let's make a film about that. Right? And now they've packaged that with incredible action, incredible moments of heroism. That is what, when I met Allu Arjun and we were talking about doing a film, and he looked at me and he said, what's wrong with Bollywood? Well, I've forgotten how to be heroes.
Yeah. Which is basically the understanding of the Indian audience. Yeah. It can be a hero or it can be a heroine like Alia and Gangubai. But
absolutely.
But the
heroism.
Yeah,
now whether I saw your podcast or show where you spoke about where you disseminated masala versus mass.
Yeah.
So it was bang on.
Yeah.
It's bang on. That is what was missing. Is missing in not mythology.
Yeah.
It's not mythology. It's heroism. Get the heroism right, which we had earlier. Amitabh Bachchan. Allah Rakha. Coming on, getting top, getting bullets and getting shot, and जहाँ पे मैं खड़ा होता हूँ वहाँ लाइन वहाँ से शुरू होती है.
Yeah, that's Kalia, right?
No, I think Diwar.
No, it's Kalia.
Kalia. Yeah. And you get up and clap.
Yeah.
You get up and clap. Shah Rukh, right? Shah Rukh as Sunil of Kabhi Ha Kabhi Na had more heroism than most heroes have today.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like it's like Dil Chahta Hai happened and a turn happened and now that turn has been reversed.
Yeah, needs to be
Because of the
reversed.
success of Bahubali.
Yeah, yeah.
Something has gone
Yeah,
back and
yeah.
like maybe Hindi cinema started questioning that we are ignoring a large chunk of the population.
110%.
Yeah.
Do you know what Jackie Shroff would do? Jackie Shroff would call up Maratha Mandir Cinema manager because he used to live in Teen Patti. And he would ask them, Burkhe wali aayi kya? Which is odd. Which was what does it mean, Burkhe wali aayi kya? The women in burkhas in Agripada and Nagpada are from the most conservative community in even the Muslim community. They would make up a story to their mother-in-laws and their husbands or the elders of the house, right, that we are going for the market, and they would go and watch an Amitabh Bachchan film
Wow.
or a Jackie Shroff film in a burqa, right?
Right.
So burkhe wali aaye kya meant that it's a super hit.
Super hit. Yeah.
That they have managed, they are putting their so-called everyday life in danger to go and see a Jackie Shroff film.
Right.
Very big thing. We've forgotten that.
Right. But if you say, like when you take a movie series like Freedom at Midnight, is it that same logic that applies?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It is. Yeah, that's only for the for the
that's
big
for
screen.
OTT. Yeah, that's for feature film.
Right. So this
Not at all.
you can still do.
Yeah, very much. The reason Rocket Boys worked, I think, in a big way is because you can just see suddenly there was a upsurge in searches of Homi Bhabha and Vikram Sarabhai on Google. Mothers wanted their children to start learning about science through Homi Bhabha and Vikram Sarabhai. It's very telling. It's extremely telling, and I think the same thing will happen hopefully with Freedom at Midnight, and we can correct some of this nonsense that happens on social media. But very different,
Right.
Extremely different. Extremely different.
So thanks so much, Nikhil. It's been a pleasure taking this set tour with you, and
Thank you.
it's actually nicer to see you because I love Kal Ho Na Ho. I to be fair, I haven't seen it in a few years, but I just that energy of that film,
I
the
haven't seen
romantic
it since
energy.
it released.
Yeah, you serious? You haven't seen it?
I
since
never
you
see anything I release. After I release, I never see anything. It's no longer mine.
Okay.
I can't control that you had have a fight with your wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, lover, or not, or you got a bad this thing at your work. You come in to see my film so now you're watching it with that kind of.
Yeah.
So it's not mine.
Yeah.
So I'll try and dictate the 150 people in a utopian setting.
Yeah.
Now watch the film in the perfect sound and the perfect. After that, it's not.
Yeah. But it's kind of nice to see you land on your feet again with D-Day, and now with this kind of project or Rocket Boys. But Rocket Boys are not directed by you, but
Yeah.
this is being directed by you.
Yes.
So look forward to this, and
Thank you so much.
I think it's going to be interesting. Like again, there are going to be people who've never read the book who are going to see this. So that's also going to be interesting to get the views of those who haven't read the book at all and who are
And to get your view, because you read it at a time where, and I think that like you said, it worked for you, the book.
yeah.
So yeah.
It's a very dramatic book.
It's
So
very-
that's what like. Actually, yesterday I got a call when the look was released, when the photograph was released. Should I buy this book and read it? Because this is not a reader, right? So the same thing that you said about Homi Bhabha and saying, like just the release of something cinematic makes somebody wants to do something literary and say, should I read this book? I said, you don't need to read the book as a preparation for a movie or anything like that. But yeah, it's a very dramatic book. So if you just want
It's a dramatic book of a dramatic time. Right? It's a dramatic book of a dramatic time, and I can't make it up.
Yeah.
Gandhi going and telling Jinnah, let Nehru and Patel, let Jinnah be Prime Minister. I can't make it up. It's a great moment in Succession, right?
Yeah.
In a Succession kind of show where somebody comes.
It's like that. And I just cannot wait to see the disclaimer at the beginnings, which is going to have one of the lengthiest disclaimers I think of all time, because it's
several
gonna be
pages, I think.
Pages. So anyway, all the best, Nikhil. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Hola! Your dream vacation to Singapore starts from rupees 44,999 only with GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.